coming to listen to our message here this evening. You have heard some youngsters, you have heard some men of experience, and that which they've talked and instructed on are very relevant for this area. You have to appreciate what it is that has brought you here and what has caused you not to move forward in a manner which you would appreciate ought to have been the pace that you should have moved forward. For too long, we have remained static, and on occasions, we have almost moved backwards. Guyana is a lovely country. Guyana has the resources that can cause us to gallop past all the countries in the Caribbean. We have, over the last 45 years, on a number of occasions, especially elections time, when we come to give the message of the various parties, have indicated where we ought to be. The trouble is that we are never there. It is a result, brothers and sisters, of a certain political leadership, but also it is as a result of a certain followership. I want to talk a bit about the leadership, and then I'm going to mention a couple of things about the followership. Your existence and subsistence in an area like Sophia is as harsh simply because of what you call bad spending habits of this government. For you to have better roads, for you to have better jobs, for you to have a functional sports facility, which I understand has become dysfunctional because there are no monies for gears, there are no administrative staff. It is simply because the monies that are supposed to have gone into those institutions and infrastructural works have been otherwise been spent. And I mean this, when a government is elected, it is supposed to get the monies of taxpayers, monies from loans, money from grants that other governments might give them, and they have to utilize those monies very wisely. They have to take it and put it in certain places where it is going to be profitable. But we have a government under Jagdeo, His Excellency Jagdeo, that has seen what is called massive squandermania, tremendous extravagance, excessive misspending, and a whole host of other things. One aspect of it was touched upon by my good brother Khemraj Ramjattan. I want to touch again on it because I think it was not elaborated too much by him. That sports facility that you have at the back there that is dysfunctional, this road that you have that is so much pothole, is as a result of the government, instead of putting the money here, Bharat Jagdeo made a bill some time ago, 9 months I think, and what he did there was to allocate onto himself over $3 million a month for the rest of his life. Lots of you might not know that, but this is what he has done. So the revenues of this country comes in to the coffers of it. It's called the Consolidated Fund. But what has happened recently is that our president has taken an amount that is superior to what the American president, past presidents get, and ensure that he will get over $3 $3 million a month for the rest of his life. Now, you know, if you take $3 million and you start patching up the holes for this Sophia road, you are going to have a better road. If you were to take another $3 million and staff the sports facility, you're going to get a functional sports facility for the young people, so that they could be usefully occupied. Exactly. But I'm going to tell you about why that is so. That is because this government has ceased to care for the people, and it is only caring for itself and a pack of cronies around it. Brothers and sisters, what a lot of people might feel that it is not too bad a thing for a president to have a special package. But I want to tell you that when your economy is donkey cart, you must not spend like you own a Mercedes-Benz. And that is what they're doing. They're giving the impression that Guyana is real right on top of the world. That money is all over the place. Indeed, Guyana has a lot of money, but it is controlled by a cabal that wants that money for itself. And it has been constantly draining the money out of the coffers into their pockets. His Excellency will get $1 million a month as soon as he steps out of office for the rest of his life. And another $2 million in perks. No electricity bill. No gasoline bill for the rest of his life. No internet bill for the rest of his life. No whatever the other bills, water bills and whatever the bills. None. He would be entitled, brothers and sisters, to 2 first-class trips to England every year. And if he does not go to England, he is going to pocket the money. He also will have 2 cooks. He will have 2 administrative staff. And he will have SUVs and drivers for them for the rest of his life. You know what the Alliance for Change is saying? That money can be better spent on you, the people in this community. And if you give the Alliance for Change a chance, we, in the very first month of government, is going to repeal that legislation and put the money for the people of this country. There is another misspending that I want to address you here this evening. When initially the PVP came into government, and even before that, when President Hoyt was there, we had only 13 ministries running this country. Today we got 21 ministries. And some ministries got ministers within the ministry of. Like you got Leslie Ramsamy, and you got Barry Ramsaran, and you got Ashley Singh as Minister of Finance, and Jennifer Webster as Minister. All these ministries, brothers and sisters, are jobs for the boys. Jobs for the boys and girls. And they fatten themselves with the salaries of the people of this country and end up being the ones who get all the cream and the milk and the fancy lifestyle. They will come to you elections time and they're going to say that we have been struggling for you. Well, let me tell you something. They have not been in any way struggling for you. They have been gouging at the coffers of the treasury for too long through that method of creating so many ministries. From 13 ministries under Teddy Dragon and Hoyt, you now got under Jack Dale 21. And then you got some ministers within the ministry of. Brothers and sisters, that is not all. You got also at the office of the president, as if his ministers were not sufficient. You got about 8 other advisors. Odinga Lumumba is one of them. He earns $669,000 a month. Do you understand that? And they call him an advisor and empowerment. Well, he has only empowered himself. Gail Teixeira gets $880,000 a month. We in the Alliance for Change have indicated that we have to cut all this fat that has been happening. We have to cut out this bureaucratic, top-half and top-heavy administration so that we can find the monies to build your streets and infrastructural works, and also to increase the salaries of you, the people in this depressed community. We are the ones who are indicating to them that if we do that, cut that kind of bloated administrative staff that cost this country billions and billions, we are going to save in the vicinity of $20 billion per annum. $20 billion that can go towards creating the necessary training for our young people to become quality masons, quality technicians, quality electricians, open tech vox schools, and train our people. Also open up and widen the curriculum at the University of Guyana so that we can have better trained mathematics teachers, science teachers, technologists and scientists, loggers and goldsmiths and jewelers and gemologists. That is what the Alliance for Change has been talking. We have the money. We can get even more. This government has a certain set of business friends that don't like to pay their taxes, and they avoid and they evade. We are going to make sure that once in government, everybody pays their fair share. Everybody pays their fair share. But this administration, like even the previous administration of the PNC, never wanted what is called an equal tax base so that everybody will pay their share, so that everybody will be beneficiaries of the wealth of this country. The Alliance for Change is also mentioning that there is another quarter from which we can also have lots of revenues. And that is from the corruption that we will curb. Every institution of government under this PPP civic administration is riven with corruption. There is corruption in the contracts. There is corruption in job employment for certain friends. There is corruption in services provided. There is corruption like we have in the Fifth Motilal Road construct at the Mila Falls. There is corruption in the Ministry of Health. All of which, by the way, brothers and sisters, if we were to do a computation, we save a further $20 billion. So not only from cutting the government and its over-bloated administration, we are also going to cut that corruption. It is a corruption that has your street like this. This street is given the job to some contractor. He then got to pay a drawback to the big boys in government. And then when he now comes here to do the street, because he has given so much money as bribe and corruption to win the contract, he's going to create substandard work. And that is what happens. Substandard work is then done. And after 5 months making the road, the potholes are all over the place. That is what has happened all across the country. The Supanam war, the charity war, the Supanam stealing. You have schools and dormitories in the hinterland areas built, and today you go, the wood is rotting, the windows are falling apart, the dorms are in no fit and proper condition for human habitation. That is what we are talking about, brothers and sisters. Corruption levels have reached the highest proportion in which Guyana today is regarded as the most corrupt country in the Americas and the Caribbean. Even Haiti might be today better off than us. If we in government, brothers and sisters, given that opportunity, we are going to ensure that that money comes back to the people. You see, although we pass a budget for $160 billion to be spent in this country, we find that only about $50 billion go directly to the people. The other $110 billion is only for the government bloated administration and their contracts and all of that. And the percentage for the people is then less than half. You can't run a country that will have growth and development and a bigger happiness of its people when you only, from the revenues of that country, leaving less than half for them. We have to increase that percentage. And that is what the Alliance for Change is talking about. Administration costs must not be that high. The Alliance for Change is also saying that we have to cut the taxation levels that are again the highest in the Caribbean. We pay a PAYE of 33 1/3%. We pay a VAT that is 16%. We pay corporate taxes that are 35 and 30%. Now if you want people to come and invest in this country, unless they adjust their taxes in such a way and evade and avoid, they really wouldn't pay those very high rates. The Alliance for Change is saying that there are two benefits for reduction of those taxes. When you reduce taxes, people will want to pay their fair share. They will appreciate it more. When you talk about taxes being too high, that is when they go around the place and they hide this income and they hide that income, and you have a falsification of their annual audits. We in the Alliance for Change are saying, reduce the taxes and lots more people are going to pay. And those who are paying might not hide all that which they're hiding now. And you're going to end up getting lots more money. Reduced taxation also has the benefit of more people wanting to get into businesses. People in Guyana, when they get into business and they got to pay 30-40% taxes when they make $1 profit, means that 40 cents out of that $1 goes to Barajagdeo and his cronies. To do what with? But to go overseas all over the place and pay themselves fancy salaries like what Gail Teixeira and the president and all his ministers are getting. You must not have that happening. We feel that what we must have is more investors coming into the country. And we are not only talking about foreign investors, we are talking about local investors. Lots of the rich Guyanese business community people, they send their monies overseas. They do not only send their children overseas, they send their monies overseas. With the reduced taxation, very many of these businessmen have indicated that they're going to come back, open up businesses in Guyana. And when you do that, brothers and sisters, that's how jobs are created. Jobs are created when businessmen, the entrepreneurial class, the class that wants to see people getting involved in manufacturing some item, even if it's furniture, or tomato paste, or pepper sauce, or whatever it is, but getting involved in producing something, then is when jobs are created. We in the Alliance for Change have indicated that that's the only way wealth can be generated in this country. But you know how this government gets its wealth? It gets it through taxation and overburden Instead of taxpayers are asked every year to pay more and more. But if we were to have more businesses all across this country, we would ensure that there are lots more monies to do the necessary governmental spending, but more than that, to increase your economic happiness. The Alliance for Change is saying that we are going to reduce that taxation from 30% to 25%, and the one that is at the rate of 40% to 30%. More than that, brothers and sisters, every sector that is productive in Guyana, or ought to be productive, got some levies involved. I am saying these things for you to understand that a better life for your community depends on the growth and development of the general economy. Sophia can be a better Sophia once the country at large gets its monies and revenues to a greater extent. And so we have to also see that our destiny in moving forward depends on how we govern that sugar industry, how we govern that bauxite industry, how we govern the gold industry, how we govern the rice industry. A lot of people sometimes don't understand the connections. We in the Alliance for Change have been giving the message all across this country that this country as a whole can only develop when those various industries also develop. The timber industry. And we must have an appreciation that how our miseries here is directly connected to the unsuccesses and the failures of those industries. And I want to mention a thing or two about them. The presidential candidate and hopeful, Donald Ramjattan for the PDP, since 1992, was a director of Gaisuko. He was the one that was there that has seen the decline of that sugar industry from where it was in the 1990s to today. He was the one that arranged what is called $200 million to be given to a certain Chinese contractor that never built a sugar factory, but they gave it to them. Built the sugar factory in Skeldon that today has literally collapsed. $200 million. If we had gone into some other energy sector, might have been very useful. You did not spend so much money on the sugar industry, but because they feel that that is their support base, they got to spend the money there. The thing has turned out to be like a white elephant now. It can't grind the amount of cane, it's not producing the sugar, and we are in a deep, deep crisis today. That is affected here. Similarly with the gold industry. Gold prices are high like hell today. $1,400 per ounce. But have we taken advantage of it? One of the best articles coming out recently was done by a comrade that spoke here, Dominic Gaskin, recently. We must not only take our gold, 300,000 ounces and more every year, and send it overseas. Although the gold prices are high, we have to ensure that we have a workforce of jewelers and smiths and goldsmiths and all of those that can do the jewelry. And then send that overseas. And the price per ounce can come to $3,000 rather than just $1,200, $1,400. It can even be more than that. What do you call value-added products? If we do not start going in that direction, brothers and sisters, we are going to be, as a famous Jamaican said, and I think it comes from the Bible too, hewers of wood and drawers of water. We are going to be remain in a primitive stage. We have to ensure that our raw material base, our natural resources are converted into what the world wants. This government has been doing nothing in that direction to ensure that we create the workforce, we create the value-added products, we create the markets overseas so that we can become a rich country. No, they have not been doing that. They want to sell Guyana simply as the lungs of the world for certain LCDS money. Well, we are saying, yes, that might be good. But in addition to that, we have so much natural resources in this country that we, in 10 years, given an opportunity in government, we could have a GDP better and bigger than very many Caribbean countries. It requires, brothers and sisters, political leadership that is not corrupt. Political leadership that has integrity. We don't have that there. Political leadership that has a vision as to where this country must go. Not only simply making rice and selling the paddy to Venezuela. We want more than that. We want you to package it. We want you to create value-added products like rice cereals. Open factories for that. Rice pudding, which you go to America and England, £1 or $1 for a little yogurt kind of container. That is $200. And it's just a couple grains of rice boiled up with milk and all of that. Put in some preservative and you have a wonderful rice pudding. Why are we not doing that, brothers and sisters? Because those that are in government only want to see themselves and being enriched. So they don't care. They don't go down to the drawing room to draw the plans for the future of this country and its young people. I have been with the People's Progressive Party. Raphael Truckman has been with the PNC. Sheila has been with the WPA. And we have seen in those parties the absolute deficit of vision to ensure that this country move forward. And you also, brothers and sisters out there, must understand that indeed that is the truth when it comes to those parties. But there is also another thing that we have to solve. Apart from the economy, apart from taxation, apart from the social infrastructure that we have to create, apart from the very many things that would have to see that your children are better educated, we have to solve this ethnic divide. All across this country, brothers and sisters, I have been preaching this. I have been preaching it long and hard. Unless we can solve that ethnic problem that sees us pulling one against the other, we are not going to make movements forward. And it was for that reason that the Alliance for Change was born. It was to create, for the very first time, and genuinely, sincerely, and with a strong foundation, a multi-ethnic party. A party that is going to preach the language that together we can do it. United we can do it. And stop all this traditional hallmarks of racial voting patterns when election times come around. We have to bring a halt to that. It is that what has kept us, when compared to the Caribbean countries that I'm talking about, has kept us not moving forward. You Guyanese, especially in this community and in your surrounding communities, must understand that. We have to understand that the political entrepreneurs of the PDP and the PNC will come here and indicate to you, brothers and sisters, we don't want the other side to get into government and they're going to cuss and they're going to fume and they're going to get angry and you're going to get frustrated. No. We have to, at this stage in the history of this country, state to one and all that we have to live here together. We have to play here together. We have to ensure that we work together. And in conclusion here, I want to tell you that whenever we work together, we have brought home the successes. We have brought home the successes in our cricket team. When the Chandapal and the Hooper bats well, when the Dowlands and the Narsingh Dev Narayan bat well, we bring home the victory. Why can't we, at the political level, understand that when we do things unitedly and don't bother with race-based politics, we're going to bring home the victory? I want you, brothers and sisters, to understand that. Lots of people are going to come. It's election season. It's the silly season. And a lot of irrationalities will be put into your head. They're going to say that, look, the PNC was there for a number of years and it did that. Don't ensure that we are putting back into government. They're also going to say, on the other hand, that the PPP has been there for 19 years. They have been corrupt. Get rid of them. Reinstall us. Well, we are saying, brothers and sisters, there must be no reinstalling. A large section of this country have been asking for change, have been demanding that the Alliance for Change come in the scene and do what it has been doing. And we have been there all across the country. We have been at Paramakatoy. We have been at Quarantine. We have been at Essequibo. Lots of places. And we are speaking exactly as we do here. Telling people to have reason and conscience as the basis for their electoral vote this time around. Lots of people have been saying that's the way to go. If we don't go that way, brothers and sisters, we are going to get the same thing continuously. And then in 2012, you're going to cuss yourself and say, what did I do again that was wrong? I want you to understand that we must not do, as Brother Mackenzie was mentioning, the same thing year after year, elections after elections, and we feel we're going to have change. Change will not come to those who continuously make the wrong choices. Wrong choices have wrong consequences for you and me, and for the country as a whole. We have to understand that it is time this country generate a brand new compassionate set of leaders to take us into the future. Not fall back to a set of leadership that has no vision. The Alliance for Change is stating that categorically it has that generation of leaders. And it is not as some people will say, only Ramjattan and Sheila and Chapman. We got lots more other leaders. We got lots of people also overseas. We got the people who love this country, but because of the crime and the high taxation, and sometimes because they couldn't find jobs for their qualifications, they left this country. They're willing to come back, brothers and sisters. Very many of them have indicated a willingness to come back the day that there is change here. You have to understand, 89% of our skilled people and our graduates leave this country. They love it though. Every time I go to New York, they're saying, buddy, when you're going to stop that nonsense happening in Guyana? When you're going to stop it? Well, we are saying we are making a valiant attempt to have it stopped so that we can share the circumstances, change those circumstances, and ensure you come back. People like Darren Khemraj, a professor in economics, Florida University, he has indicated that he will be coming back to ensure that he'll give guidance to how the economy must come. He knows it all. He has helped us write our action plan and develop our programs as to how the economy can be better run. We have people like Narayan Singh, Euclid Rose, a doctor. and so many others like Professor Shamir. And don't ever be fooled by people who are going to tell you that the Alliance for Change has not the personnel, the expertise, and the experience to do it. We have that. And in any event, you must ask them, with what you and the PVP have shown that you got, why corruption so high? Why we can't get a job? Why is crime so rampant? You have to tell them that. Whenever they come and they ask, but you're unable to run a government, Mr. Ramjattan, you tell them that we must be given a chance. Would we have known that Bishu could have spun that ball so magnificently unless he was selected? Lots of people had all the time indicated that there will not be change in America. We see today that the fact that so many people decided that they're going to change for the better, they installed an Obama. Very many people have felt that there was never going to be a black person as president of America. It happened. You have to give it a chance. You have to ensure that you have that in your heart, that what has happened before is wrong, and we must not continue with it. We feel that this is the time when that change must be made, to the extent where we must be giving unto the newer generation the opportunity for us to build this country united and strong. I ask of you, people in Sophia, do not indulge in the racist voting patterns that you have had over the years. It carries us nowhere. We have to now vote reason. We have to vote on the issue. And when you come to think of it, that you're going to vote on issue and conscience, there is only one political party that you can vote for. That's the Alliance for Change. And I'm urging you, on those grounds that I have mentioned, and knowing very well that your destiny depends on your choices today. Your destiny in 2012 depends on your choices you make in 2011. That you make that choice going through the arguments rationally and not thinking about race. You must do it that way. And when you do it that way, you are going to see a change in this country. You yourself too, brothers and sisters, will feel liberated. You yourself will feel that you're emancipated because that dead weight of race you've liberated yourself from. And when you come dealing with issues rationally, you are going to vote Alliance for Change. Thank you, and a very good night to you, brothers and sisters in Sophia.